Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. How can we make WWE Raw great again? That's right, after 2 weeks of being incredibly negative, I would say deservedly so, on WWE Raw, we're going to try and inject a bit of positivity, because in a few hours' time, Laurie's going to have a video up that recounts all the bad things about Raw. I'm Ollie Davis. This is the other one, Luke Owen. Welcome to the Saturday edition of WrestleRamble, which is, of course, sponsored by Beer 52. Head over to beer52.com/WrestleTalk, UK viewers only, to get your free case of craft beer. And Fight Forever UK, the new independent wrestling promotion, which will have a string of dates next week in Liverpool, in Birmingham, but most importantly, I nearly said Brighton, in London, down our road, 12 minutes from this very studio in the famous, historic York Hall in Bethnal Green, where we're going to be propping up the bar and having ourselves a 3 to 4 man tag on the Cronenbergs.
Yeah, and we'll do what we usually do when we go to wrestling shows, which is we get quite tipsy, very leery, love all the wrestling, and then the following day go like, don't remember much of it. I just remember loving it.
Yeah. Hopefully we see Speedball Mike Bailey again. he just seems to appear when I'm drunk enough, and I'm like, you're what I need right now as a wrestler. So, WWE Raw.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a rough 2 weeks, and one of the most depressing things, I would say, the thing that got me really depressed the night after Survivor Series was how they set up the next 2 to 3 months of programming and feuds and storylines, which would sort of come round to early next year before the Royal Rumble, and all of it was uninspiring. Your main event is a Baron Corbin-Braun Strowman feud. The tag division is based on Drake Maverick peeing himself. As much as Nia Jax had some great heat, but they've flattened that out with Tamina.
Isn't that amazing how they had like legit real life heel heat with Nia Jax that they then turned into wrestling heat, and yet when she came out on Raw this week, everyone sort of went,
It's similar to another, like one of the real big casualties of this creative lull is Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, one of the most just brilliant feuds, complex, psychologically deep storylines that was going in the company. And then the Monday after Survivor Series, it was like completely different characters. And yeah, real life heat, or a real life, underpinning with Roman Reigns getting diagnosed with leukemia, has given way to Dean Ambrose being a germaphobe.
yeah, vaccinations in the butt. It has been a really bad couple of weeks of Raw. Did you see the Observer? That's called the breakdown of the hourly ratings when they were
low.
Low.
Summary.
Is what they were. Low. It was like a big drop off from hour 1 to hour 3, which is standard, but it was the second lowest hour 3, I believe, of the year.
And thus ever.
And thus ever, because the other one was like a holiday show. And the other sort of startling fact about it was that it was like when they announced that it was Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, it almost actively made people tune out, because what you tend to find is that hour 1 does well, or at least, well in WWE terms. Bit of a drop-off in hour 2, but some people tend to return for hour 3 because they've hyped up something that people want to see in hour 3. Not this time. They saw what it was, and they were like, I'll go find my entertainment elsewhere, thanks. And the one I found most interesting was the giant drop-off in the second hour of teenage girls. The teenage female audience turned off in massive numbers in hour 2. And apparently you cannot pinpoint exactly where it is, but Dave was like, my gut feeling would be the Bobby Roode's AOP match.
Yeah, just a stab in the dark.
Just a stab in the dark.
Maybe a guy pissing on a robe
If I was
that
to
no
throw
one
a dart-
finds funny apart from Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So, I would say let's start from the top, because Raw doesn't really have a main event, because you could say, oh, well, it's Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin ahead of their match at TLC. Well, Braun Strowman's not going to be there for 4 weeks or something. He might even miss TLC. So let's start with the top. How do we fix the main event?
Well, okay, so Raw's biggest issue that it's got currently, in my eyes, particularly in the main event scene, is that they have put all their eggs into a Roman-shaped basket. That was their big plan, was we've got this Roman-shaped basket, we're putting all of our eggs into here. While they were doing that, accidentally, this Braun Strowman basket grew. And they were like, oh, okay, well, let's put some of our eggs into that as well because he is getting over and we can do something with him. Perhaps we can get these two big baskets and we'll make them have a basket match. And that'll be great. But now, both of those baskets are gone. And so your main event scene is no one. It's Baron Corbin. Like, that's all of a sudden you're looking at it, it's like, God, your top heel is Baron Corbin. How did that happen? Raw is being built around Baron Corbin at the moment.
Which that's what WWE have seen. But if you asked me when this happened, I would have gone, no, your top heel's Drew McIntyre. You've been building him up. You made him decisively beat Kurt Angle just the other week. Why isn't Drew McIntyre number one?
Because we're not ready to pull that trigger yet, I guess. But that's okay, and that's the other side of this, is because of the Roman Reigns basket unfortunately being diagnosed with leukemia, they've put the belt back onto Brock, which means there's no longer a title on Raw anymore, which means, again, everyone's sort of fighting for nothing. And that's why the main storyline of Raw is about who is going to be the GM.
Luke, we're being positive here. We're constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
So how are we going to fix it? I want solutions.
Solutions. A, get the belt back onto Raw. Get the belt off Brock.
Realistic solutions. That's not going to happen until Rumble.
At Rumble then, get the belt off him.
Yes.
Like, if you're looking at this situation, then you're like, well, let's get the belt back on Raw as quickly as possible.
Yeah, okay. I think that's, even in our fantasy booking, we can't book that. And I think everything from Royal Rumble onwards is going to be okay.
Of course it is, because you're building into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, when they start trying.
So until then, out of the people who aren't injured or just off TV for whatever reason, what are you going to build that main event around? Drew McIntyre, I would say, is your lead heel, and you position that main event faction around Drew. You don't have Drew as Baron's lackey. You have Baron Corbin trying to please Drew all the time. That's the way that power dynamic should be.
So,
Bobby Lashley, put him somewhere else. He doesn't fit in this. No. None of them fit with each other. As much as I thought it was a bit of a Franken pairing, Dolph Ziggler, bring back Dolph Ziggler to be in this Drew McIntyre faction as well, but have him as Drew's lackey. And they're all going against, I guess you can't have Seth Rollins because he's with the Ambrose feud, unfortunately.
Well, that's our second issue we got here, is we have no top baby faces because our number 1 and 2 baby faces on Raw are now both not here, and there was no number 3. Well, there is a number 3, it's Seth Rollins, but he's busy elsewhere, and so there was no number 4. I guess you could say that it was Finn, but Finn's been completely flattened out. He's got no momentum whatsoever. There's Elias.
Yeah.
And Elias is good in his role. I like Elias. I'm a big fan of Elias. And I think that actually he's taken to this face role much better than I thought he would do.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he's ready to be like our number 1 babyface on Raw.
Bray Wyatt. I don't think he's the only answer I can think of.
He needs to be fresh. That's the thing. And that was the point I was going to make, is that, and we've talked about this before, I think, on the WrestleRamble, where the problem with the Raw scene at the moment is that everyone does feel stale and flattened out because I think that was their aim in 2018, was to sort of just make sure no one got over. So really the only answer was to either bring back someone, i.e. Bray Wyatt, or NXT call-up that you insert straight into the main event scene. Not Lars Sullivan being monster heel. I'm talking about someone like a Matt Riddle or a Keith Lee, or bring up the Undisputed Era as sort of like this new shot. But
you want baby face.
So Aleister Black.
Matt Riddle would be perfect. Unfortunately, I think for some bizarre reason they want to polish all the rawness off him. Ironically, for a show called Raw.
Yeah. So Aleister Black, something like that.
Aleister Black would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Man, it's after Survivor Series. You've just had your top star that you built the whole company around out indefinitely. Braun's out, your next guy. So yeah, just call someone up. It's not like you haven't got There's too much talent in NXT.
No, if anything, it will actually help them out in NXT because we've got too many top guys down here. NXT's got the complete opposite problem of Raw. There's too many top people down in NXT. So bring one of them up, instantly insert them into a main event position.
Yeah.
You've then got your new number one babyface.
And people might go, but you need to build these people up on the main roster. Look at the Shield.
Absolutely.
Literally,
bloody exactly.
TLC 2012 was when they had their first match. And it wasn't the main event, but they arrived and then some.
Exactly, and they were in the ring instantly with the top guys in the company.
Right
and
back.
Exactly. You know, Ryback, Sheamus, all these top guys. You just bring them in, instantly establish themselves as main eventers, and the crowd will buy into them as main eventers. The Nexus are another example of that. They were 7 absolute jabronis. With the exception of Bryan and Barrett, I would argue.
I like Gabriel and.
Well, yes, but when they were never
Ryback
presented on NXT as stars.
No,
with the exception of Barrett, really, and Bryan by accident. They didn't want him to be, but the crowd wanted him to be a star. So aside from those two, the rest of them were jabronis. But they did one segment on Raw. And instantly I was like, what a threat. They came off as an incredible, legit threat.
Yeah, now's the time to do it. You've got all these problems that have happened, so just shake it up. There's no way it can be worse than what you've got. So here's my other suggestion. Another place where you have all of this incredible talent that the last couple of pay-per-views we've come back and said, blimey, those guys are great. It's 205 Live.
Feature on Raw.
You've got a stacked roster of fantastic wrestlers, really, really top-class wrestlers. The Luchadors are some of the best wrestlers in the world in terms of high flying. Why not just go, okay, this whole thing's kind of gone. We've got Lucha House Party over here now as well. Let's just have the 205 Live division on Tuesdays. That's its own show. But all the other guys, or Wednesdays, whatever it is, your top guys, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, Noam Dar, they can start to compete in the Intercontinental title picture.
I mean, dude, it seems like a crazy idea, but really, and actually, your better use of 205 Live. Do you see where 205 Live came in the top for the ratings this week on the network? 14th.
Wow.
It was outdrawn by lots of things.
Old pay-per-views.
I don't think it was an old pay-per-view this time. But 14th. As well, it's meant to be your big Wednesday night deal with NXT and NXT UK. No one's asked. And Raw, when 205 Live first started, the idea was that they would feature on Raw to build interest so people would then want to watch 205 Live on Tuesdays on the network.
An okay idea.
It's a great idea, an absolutely great idea. The problem was, instantly they got bored of it and was like, let's just treat it like a joke and not bother building anything on Raw. So they're just there to fill time. So rather than do that, brought them back on Raw, but don't use it as filler. Use it as, let's guarantee, if you tune into Raw, you're going to see an amazing cruiserweight match.
Yeah.
To kick off the show, or at the end of hour 1, you're always going to see a kick-ass cruiserweight match.
You've got 3 hours.
I know.
You've got 3 hours. You're telling me it's a risk to just let these guys go out there for 10, 15 minutes, the occasional one goes 20, and they have a pay-per-view caliber match, which all of those guys can do very, very competently. And their whole gimmick at the moment on 205 Live is taking disinterested people waiting for the SmackDown Dark main event, although the schedule's changed, I guess, and then making them interested, and they do it quite a lot.
And I think that will change again. Once Mixed Match Challenge is out of the way, I'd imagine 205 Live will go back to being on Tuesdays, taped after SmackDown, which...
that's the name.
Right, well, it's such a stupid name. It's so stupid.
So the way I would do this, I wouldn't just have them in as here is an exhibition match to see what you can get for 205 Live. I would have them as legit mid-card contenders.
Storylines.
Dean Ambrose costs Seth Rollins the belt. That is a feud that I have come to think maybe Seth doesn't need that belt. Maybe, especially now Brock's gone away, just have Seth and Dean as this blood feud, let the Intercontinental picture create a whole new dimension on Raw.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a feud that doesn't need a belt.
And it frees up Seth, as great as the Intercontinental belt is, and Seth has done really cool things with it, he's a top tier guy. And I want to see him in the mix with Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman.
Like when you're looking at the feud, like the promos that Dean's cutting when he's got his butt hanging out and he's sitting in front of bins and whatnot. Do you ever hear those feuds like, God, he really wants to win the IC belt?
Yeah.
No,
he wants to. Doesn't need it.
He wants to be upset. It's got nothing to do with the belt. The belt is literally there as a prop, but it's not even a prop you're fighting for. So it may as well just be a ring post.
So make it into a story element. Have Ambrose cost Rollins it.
Yeah,
and then,
this was never about the belt.
Yeah.
Well, you can't say
and it almost makes him more vicious. That you're like, oh man, he doesn't care about the belt.
Just wants to be upset.
That would require a complicated character, though. Maybe just get rid of the belt. You sneezed on it. The only other thing I would change. I would vacate the Intercontinental title, have a tournament at 205 Live.
God, you love a tournament, don't you?
Have a tournament. I think that's a nice way to get through those cold, dark winter months.
No, football's on. You don't need to try.
So the other thing, because we haven't talked about the women's division, and as great as the women, when you look at WWE overall, you're like, wow, that's a good women's division. Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Ronda. And then you're like, actually, that's just 3 people, and they're split across 2 brands. Mm-hmm. So turn Sasha Banks heel.
Yep.
And then have her in the mix. Why is Sasha not in, having matches with Ronda and costing Ronda matches and beating up Bayley? How has Sasha never properly been a heel outside of Team Bad or whatever?
You're absolutely right. That's a baffling question, really, isn't it? And considering that I feel like we spent almost the first half of this year going God, that Sasha Banks heel turn's coming soon, though, isn't it? It's got to be coming soon.
It's taken a while, but at least we'll get
there.
The Banks turn.
Oh no, actually, I think it's Bayley that's turning heel. No, I don't think either of them would turn heel. No, they're friends again. What was that all about?
Yeah.
It was a waste of time. And my only other notes I had to try and make Raw seem like a more fun show to watch, a more enjoyable show, a show worthwhile tuning in for, is to make something of the tag team division. You have these tag belts, you have these guys. I suppose the problem with Raw in terms of its tag team division is that there's only one legitimate team in there, which is AOP. But even now, they don't seem like a legit team anymore because they've got a pissing manager. Not a pissing manager isn't like a bloody manager. No, he's a manager that pisses all the time. So you got Bobby Roode and Chad Gable's Franken team, and then no one else. So if the Revival are one of the best teams in the company, flattened out, and then it's the B team, Hisato and Rhino, an NXT call-up. They've got so many tag teams down there that are doing sweet FA because the Undisputed Era are kind of dominating the scene. So use one of them, bring them up, make some new challenges.
Well, quite fitting with the AOP stuff. Let's go on with some crap gimmicks.
If you're wondering to yourself, what the heck is a crap gimmick? Well, that's a section we do here each and every Saturday on the WrestleRamble, where you, the Swaft Nation, submit to us your crap gimmicks, and then we, the owners and bookers of Crap Gimmick Wrestling, will decide if it's crap enough to sign to our roster or to our underdevelopmental contracts. And we go through them. We've got a big backlog of them at the moment. We're still in July. If you want to email in your suggestion, it's luke@wrestletalk.com. That's luke@wrestletalk.com. And one of the fun things about us having such a backlog is that I can almost put a time date on when we sat down and we did an episode of WrestleRamble where we said we need more baby faces. We keep getting heels submitted to us because when I was going through the emails, it was all like, you asked for a baby face, you asked for a baby face, you asked for a baby face. So we've got lots of baby faces this week.
Thank you for obliging us, Swath Nation.
This one first from Blair Davis, sent in on July 26th. Hey, Luke and Ollie, you've both mentioned wanting more baby faces in your crap gimmick locker room, but also making heels seems to be easier and more interesting. So I'm going to pull a WWE music video and attempt to give you the best of both worlds. His name is the Pats Fan. In case you don't get it, it's a reference to the New England Patriots football team. It's American football team, you and I. The character is laden with seemingly endless Patriots merchandise, jean shorts, a beer belly, and a 5 o'clock shadow he just can't seem to find the time to shape up. He comes to the ring to insert popular Boston band and cuts loud promos in this very grating New England accent about how the only region in the world worth his time and money is New England. He loves his chowder, his Fenway Franks, and he carries a portrait of Tom Brady with him that he will use behind the referee's back to win matches. When CGW inevitably goes overseas, he tells tells crowds across the world that the only football is American football, clearly healing it up. However, when he makes his entrance in Boston, Connecticut, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire, he receives a hero's welcome and he talks of how great it is to be home. His moves were, of course, New England themed, with a triple powerbomb known as the Boston Marathon, a diving headbutt called the touchdown, and 2 interchangeable finishing submissions, one being a Mexican surfboard he calls the 26th mile, and a dragon sleeper he calls Deflategate. Patriots fans have been noted several times as the most annoying fans in American football by anyone who isn't a Patriots fan, so I thought the suggestion might play into the fun local hero who everyone else thinks is annoying. Thanks guys, hope you like my suggestion. That's Blair, possibly from New England. P.S. If you don't like it, my wife will divorce me. Do you want that blood on your hands?
Wow. Stakes. Well, he's not getting signed. I do want the blood. You've given us a heel, is what you've done. I guess you've captured the Bret Hart, I'm a face in Canada and the UK, but a heel in America. But just done a very specific localized version of that where it's just in one town. I would argue that most wrestlers get cheered in their hometown, regardless of heel or face.
The Miz does.
Yeah. And plus, this isn't I'm familiar with Deflategate and the New England Patriots, but I think a lot of these references have gone over my head. Sports. On to the next one, unless you've got any thoughts.
Well, the only thing I could imagine, he sounds like he looks like the Beer City Bruiser. So we haven't got anyone that looks like that on the roster. At least I don't think we have.
Silver linings.
Silver linings.
This is the optimism episode.
Exactly. MacADK on July 28th sends in the Zookeeper, who is a babyface that tries to keep control of the locker room and only refers to wrestlers as their animal nicknames, if they have any, such as the Big Dog or the Animal. If there is a big brawl in the locker room, you'll always see him trying to break it up by catching one of them with a net, which usually breaks if he gets them. His finisher is a sleeper hold, so once he wins the matches, he can say, name of the opponent has just been contained. His favourite matches are steel cage or Hell in a Cell matches because he feels nostalgic to his time at the zoo whenever he would be able to calm down wild animals. This is why he would always start out a match by trying to calm down his opponents like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World, but obviously that never works out for him. He would have some Jake the Snake moments where he brings out actual animals to do his dirty work or use a tranquilizer dart to help him with his sleeper hold. If he isn't in a feud, you could always cut to video packages about him talking about how much work he does for organizations like Wildlife Conservation Society or other animal-related charities. Even if this isn't very good, I still want to say thank you guys for getting me into wrestling in the first place and keeping me enjoy it. Have a great day.
Well, that's good to hear that you're into wrestling, that we did a small thing because of that. But I would say that writing they're a babyface does not make it a babyface character. That's a heel!
That is a heel.
That's a heel character.
That's 100%
Breaking
a heel.
up backstage brawls, using tranquilizer darts in sleeper holds.
Yeah, that's a heel.
That's heel heat. I guess he gives to charity at the end.
I was going to say, that was his... I forgot that he was a babyface. And then at the end of it was like, why would a heel give to charity?
It was the NRA.
Oh dear. And then finally from Matthew Willis, also on July 28th. My real name is Matthew Willis and I've been watching you guys for 2 years now. You two and the Divas Revolution have gotten my wife into wrestling, while I've been a fan since the NWO was still a thing.
He said Divas Revolution.
But it might well have started off as the Divas
I
Revolution,
think that's
didn't
hate speech now, though. You're not allowed to say that.
Also, imagine being like, that's what got you into women's wrestling, where they were just like, Stephanie McMahon came out, was like, you are going to go over here, now you're going to go over here, you can be friends with this one, and then you're all going to fight.
Must be very self-loathing if that's what gets you into stuff.
But he has suggested Matthew the Redeemer Alexander. Initially working with his older brother Christoph as a tag team called the Gems, they constantly lose week after week. After a month of losses, Matthew starts getting angrier and angrier with Christoph as his mistakes are constantly what makes his team lose. It all culminates after a loss, makes them lose, and Matthew gets into Christoph's face. After calming down and apologising to Christoph, the script flips, and Chris attacks Matthew, having it turned out that he was losing on purpose to see Matthew get beaten down every week. He proceeds to demolish him, throwing him through steps, tables, beating him with stairs, and finishing up throwing him through the announcer's table. This sends Matthew out with an injury. After 2 weeks of mocking Matthew for being weak, Christoph challenges him to the following pay-per-view, which is accepted without Matthew showing up. On the pay-per-view, Matthew comes out in his new gimmick, the Redeemer. Bent on saving his brother from his sins, Matthew wins the match and proceeds to do the same damage to Christoph that Chris did to him in a fully recreated mirror attack. After the beatdown, Matthew drags Chris to the center of the ring and sprays a Celtic cross on his chest, claiming that he has been redeemed. This gimmick has Matthew becoming a questionable babyface that inserts himself into other wrestler drama, saving them when they're being jumped and attacking heels from behind and destroying them, always finishing these heel redeeming attacks by performing the heel's own finisher on them and completing a redemption ceremony showing his unhinged status. From here, he can go beat down a load of heels to make it blah blah blah. Hope you liked it.
Blah blah blah. It's not really a crap gimmick. It's a gimmick with a good fantasy. But I really like I don't think I've ever seen that in a tag team where they were intentionally losing to see them get worked over.
Yeah,
I like that. And that's not a bad gimmick.
I was going to say, that's the problem. You've fallen into a trap here. You've thought it's bad. What you've done is actually do something that's quite good.
Yeah. There's no puns. No one looks ridiculous in this storyline.
No,
you completely missed the brief, sir.
Yeah.
There's no one getting signed this week.
No one is getting signed this week, I'm afraid. Not even into an underdevelopmental contract. Do you want to just shake hands?
No, I don't.
And if you want to submit any questions to the mailbag, all you have to do is become one of our awesome pledge hammers over on Patreon and donate at any dollar amount, and then leave your question in the community area in our Patreon page. Hope you all enjoyed the review we did of NXT TakeOver Toronto. We had a bloody good laugh recording that.
Especially when it was so close to War Games.
Yes.
It was interesting to see how far NXT has come.
In just 2 years.
2 years.
Absolutely.
And that's not saying Toronto's an excellent show. But this year's War Games was just otherworldly.
Absolutely, yeah. So our first question here comes from Alex Vaughan. Hey guys, I've been wondering this lately and want your view on it. NXT call-ups are approaching as we begin to enter WrestleMania season. Are we entering into WrestleMania season just yet?
I guess Road to WrestleMania is kind of
Royal
January.
Rumble. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, maybe. So with that in mind, who do you see flourishing on the main roster, if anyone at all? People like Elias, who didn't really succeed in NXT, have been pretty successful. Do you think anyone currently developmental would be able to follow in his footsteps? Thanks in advance, Alex.
It's an interesting observation that if you're no good in NXT, not no good, but like if you're not a featured person at the top of NXT, you'll likely do better. But I guess No Way Jose hasn't really done anything. Go and look at the picture of No Way Jose on his wrestling theme cover. You know, like on YouTube.
Oh, right, yeah.
He looks scared. Someone pointed out on Reddit, it made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
But it's kind of I know this isn't going to go well, that kind of look.
I am Adam Rose 2.0.
Yeah, I think Lars Sullivan will do well because he's big.
Yeah, he's getting set for a super push, and he is big, so he's likely going to do fine. It's been a bad year for NXT call-ups. I think it's safe to say, I'm willing to, if you're wanting to correct me if I've forgotten anyone, but none of the NXT call-ups this year have been successful.
No. Not at all. Ember Moon, AOP,
Andrade, Sanity.
Sanity.
Yeah.
Christ.
Iconics.
Nikki Cross for a hot second.
Yeah, that didn't count.
No. Yeah. It's that nothing's happened.
So are there?
I mean, AOP are tag team champions.
Yeah. Here's what I would. Well, yeah, quite. Here's what I would say. I think that Undisputed Era will be fine when they go up to the main roster, because I really see the Undisputed Era as a Triple H project, and the same way that the Shield were a Triple H project that he was able to protect and convince them that they were going to be a big deal. I can almost see the Undisputed Era getting that same treatment. Also, it's a faction. If there's one thing that Triple H likes, if you're a faction, you're fine.
Tell that to Sanity. I mean...
But they weren't a Triple H project.
Yeah, they were.
They were an NXT project. They were not like when I say...
Triple H came up with that gimmick like years ago when he saw Seven Aces or whatever that movie is. Smoking Aces.
Did it really?
Yes.
Crikey.
Then he made a little cool logo
for them. Give it to them. I'm not coming down for lunch just yet. What I mean is I see...
And Asuka, there is no one who was more of a Triple H project.
Not part of a faction, and that was her problem. She needed to be out with like Io Shirai and like all together. That's what they needed to be. No, I really look at the Undisputed Era and just like you can see Triple H's fingerprints all over it. And I can almost see in like pitchings like this is our new DX. This is going to be our new top faction. Yeah. This is our new Shield. and he'll do his best. Like Sanity, there's only so far you can go with them, I suppose. And Vince just took the one look at him and was like, no.
Undisputed Era aren't the most vertically gifted people.
Adam Cole's quite tall, isn't he?
I don't think so.
No?
No. Tall. In real life, I think he'll come up to about here.
No way.
Yeah.
How
tall is he?
I don't know.
But people tell me that Apollo Crews is 6'1" when he's quite evidently. So he is. He's got a build height of 6 foot. I would be surprised if that's the case.
Oh, so that's far too small for Vince. Yeah. That's a regular person height.
Yeah. How tall's Lars Sullivan? He's like 6'8", isn't he?
He's the same height as Keith Lee, I can tell you that much, because they stood
Good grief, and
eye
Keith
to
Lee's
eye.
enormous.
Yeah.
But he's only billed as 6'3". No way is Adam Cole 3 inches shorter than Lars Sullivan.
I told you he was tall.
At least be consistent with it.
Told you he was tall. Alex Drurer. Marcel Drurer has emailed in, hi Luke/Ollie/Laurie. Who do you think is worse, Stephanie or Shane?
Stephanie. Next.
Butter Toast asked, if you could pick one WWE superstar, either current or past, who has never wrestled anywhere but WWE, WWF, and WCW to... Okay, if you could pick one WWE superstar from the past who's never been in New Japan or ROH, who would it be?
Yeah, that's a more succinct way of putting that question.
Yeah.
Who's never wrestled in New Japan? Who could do the best in New Japan out of the bunch? You got any thoughts? Because the New Japan and ROH styles are very similar.
Yeah.
ROH is essentially strong style in America.
Especially because I've got to try and think, because it's past and present, so I'm trying to go through some names. But like that sort of New Japan style, when you think when I go past, who would fit into that? Most of them had done New Japan in the 90s. So yeah, who would be?
It's like people like The Rock wouldn't fit in.
No, Austin wouldn't fit in.
But like Goldberg with his MMA influence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, The Undertaker.
Yeah.
I think The Undertaker could have had, you see how they present evil in New Japan?
Actually, that's a great show.
Undertaker could sort of be supernatural dead man, but really embrace that MMA offense that he uses in an Undertaker Suzuki match in the mid-noughties.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my pick.
Yeah, that's a good shout. God, you're good at this. This is why they pay you the big bucks. I'm going to say The Undertaker. That guy who wants to support says, yo, hello everyone in the SWAP Nation universe, and hello Ollie, Luke and Laurie. Because it's so good being the bad guy, just ask Adam Pacitti, who are your top 5 heel wrestlers in the world at the moment? Keep on breathing and being awesome, sending lots of love and support and spiritual high fives.
Number 1, Tommaso Ciampa. Number
2,
2,
Sami Callihan.
Number 3, Walter.
Oh yeah, great shout.
Number 4, it's too. I've got to think too much now. I can give you an easy top 3.
Yeah. Oh, Baron Corbin. God.
Brock Lesnar's a pretty decent heel. Because, everyone legit hates him.
Yeah, that's true.
That's quite something.
Yeah.
And I would say Suzuki when he gets into sadistic mode. When he's not playing up to the crowd.
Well, I was going to say...
I'm going to slap the
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
My argument against picking Suzuki is that I think that he does like to play up to the crowd. When we saw him, when it was Suzuki Gun versus Aussie Open at Rev Pro, that whole match was built around him chasing Kyle Fletcher and everyone wanting to see that.
I think that's Suzuki in house show mode, but New Japan Suzuki is a lot more sadistic, and he doesn't really do that stuff.
Oh, I'd say Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, Zach's good.
Because he's a proper little prick. Noah Trombley asks, hello, Luke, Ollie, and Laurie, and the entire SWAP Nation. My question is, why do you think WWE resents people who get themselves over so much? It just seems so damaging that they would rather bury those people than fail at pushing their own person, and I feel that WWE knows this. Love all the hard work that you do.
It is. I mean, I think it's very deep. I think the McMahons and the people in control of WWE like to think they know more about wrestling than anyone, and they know a hell of a lot. They've got the biggest company. They've won. They won. They won the wrestling game.
Yeah, pretty much.
They certainly know more than I do, more than Luke does, by just ungodly amounts,
leaps and bounds.
Yeah, but they don't know everything. And I think when people get over by themselves, the management see that and are like, well, that they kind of come up with reasons against why that should be, this new thing is successful. Like, oh, well, it's just the chant that's over. Or
it's that one town.
Yeah, it's that one place. When really, if you're smart and you want to give as many guys chances as possible, because you want to make as many top stars as possible, because that will make you the most money, you just give everyone a chance, and you go with those organic moments, and you push people who are getting over, not put them in geek storylines with Eva Marie and John Cena. Talking about Zack Ryder.
I would say that I always wondered this myself. As like, well, why didn't they push Zack Ryder? Like, he was so over with the crowd. He organically got himself over. Why didn't they go with it? And then Paul Heyman did an interview with Steve Austin on his podcast. And as soon as he told this story, I was like, oh, that's why then. He tells the story that if Vince sneezes during a meeting, that meeting is over. Because Vince McMahon hates sneezing because it's something he can't control. It's something that his body does against his will. And Paul Heyman was like, tells the story. He's like, I had him in the palm of my hands. I was telling him my 6-month plan for SmackDown. He was buying into everything, and he sneezed, and that was it. I'd lost him. He wouldn't listen to anything that I said after that. If Vince McMahon can't control something, he doesn't want it. And if someone gets themselves over, that's not a Vince choice. So I don't want it.
Yeah, it's
Zack Ryder is a sneeze.
That's a very, very good analogy for what is probably a deeper mindset. But shall we get on with an unboxing? We've got a WrestleCrate, so we can get more stuff in the background here. This is I've just seen what's in there.
Yeah, it's funny. We literally had this conversation because I told you it was going to be in the next box.
I forgot about that. I'm excited. So, WrestleCrate, thank you very much for sending this to us. If anyone else wants to sign up to this monthly mystery box full of loads of wrestling goodies, go over to WrestleCrate.co.uk and enter the discount code WTTV, that's us, and you'll get a free autograph bundle. That is there's a WWE legend, current WWE superstar, signed 8x10s, and signed 8x10s by us. You're welcome.
Don't let that put you off. You get other good stuff. You get actual good stuff in there.
You get all the good things. It's just like you can throw out one away.
Use it as kindling.
There's also WrestleCrate.com, who are helping us out now as well. So go to WrestleCrate.com, use the same discount code, and you'll get another offer bundle over there. Not with our pictures, though. Wisely, I think. Yeah. So, don't look. What could it be? A Kenny Omega pop vinyl figure. This is the one I saw. That's awesome.
Isn't it just?
That's cool.
I've seen a lot of people posting about it on the old social media, so I also knew it was coming there. But it does look very nice. May I?
Yeah, I guess so.
Thanks.
Well, he's going to go... Who should he replace?
Well,
Steve Austin falls over a lot.
Doesn't have to replace anyone. He can just go next to them. Yeah, totally.
Someone keeps commenting on the WrestleRamble videos saying these are too distracting.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one. I've seen the person who keeps saying penis.
Yeah, they do that. Look at the detail on the hair there.
I know, I noticed that.
That's good. I nearly bought a Marvin the Martian pop vinyl.
Oh, that's a great shout.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Why didn't you?
Because my girlfriend was with me, and and she was like making too much fun of it, and it made me feel a bit sheepish. And I was like, well, I'm only in here to get Secret Santa.
Yeah.
At work.
What can you do a good Marvin voice?
Maybe.
That's not bad, actually.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Okay, t-shirt time.
Oh, I love a t-shirt time. Who we got?
It's a green. Yeah.
Green?
This is. Oh God! It's a big, strong boy.
Oh, big, strong
Tyler
boy.
Bate.
Oh
no!
Big, strong boy.
Okay, so this is a great T-shirt. I just happen to think Big Strong Boy is a terrible name. Worse than this. Is this the terrible name week? Because Best Bout Machine is also an awful nickname for Kenny Omega. Big Strong Boy.
Okay, you got to rank them. Oh no, we'll do this. Marry, Snog, Avoid, Big Strong Boy, Best Bout Machine, Mayor of Slam City.
Who was the Mayor of Slam City?
That's Johnny Impact's one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, I'm gonna have a fling with Snog, Mayor of Slam City. Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to marry Best Bout Machine. It's bad, but Big Strong Boy's the worst. Me and my friend joke about this on a every 3 days, I'll just get big, strong boy on WhatsApp. But Tyler Bates, fantastic wrestler. What a lovely T-shirt.
It's a lovely T-shirt. I'm actually going to wear this T-shirt because I really like it.
Ooh. Now, I like a tote bag.
So you're that guy.
I'm that hipster.
Yeah.
Okay, shotgun. This is mine.
Yeah,
it's
what is
a
it?
cat.
Oh,
It's a
that is
wrestling
cool.
cat.
That is good.
And it says grapple at the bottom, and on the side, it says... Well, I want to say it's Guru Apuru. I think it's the same word in Japanese, but I'm sure everyone is correcting me. That's mine. That is.
You can have that.
That is awesome.
I'm having the T-shirt.
I say it's mine. It's going to be my girlfriend's.
Yeah.
She loves cats. Next up.
Oh, pin.
That's cool. It's a Jack Sexsmith one. It's an I Am Proud, and it's fabulous. It's glittery.
Oh, that is glittery.
Look
oh,
at
may
the
I?
reflection on the lights.
Yes, I am proud. I like that a lot.
This is a good box.
Yeah, this
I'm
is-
not even just saying that.
No, this is an excellent one.
And then for here, WXW shortcut to the top on DVD.
Yes, mate. I can see Ilya Dragunov on the
Yes,
front.
looking just insane.
Terrifying, man.
So Ilya Dragunov versus Absolute Andy. Dirty Dragon versus Volta.
I'm so intrigued by Absolute Andy. I've heard very, very good things about him.
Germany seem to have such a good scene over there.
Well, that's why
But
they're doing
Jazzy's in
the-
it.
Oh, lovely. That's why WWE are looking to do Germany next as their next
Reportedly.
European expansion.
Bobby Guns versus Marius Alani.
Yeah, do you want to do the Bobby Guns song again?
Guns. Bobby Guns. Do you want me to do the... You do that bit.
Dun.
Na-na-na-na.
Oh, no, am I doing that bit?
I don't know.
Guns. Bobby Guns. It's great, but don't do it throughout the entire match. That's all I'm saying.
Next up we have... Oh, the Calling Spots magazine. That's cool. It's got Trent Seven, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate very artistically drawn
Big
there
strong
on the
boys.
front. Big. But this is a very good little zine.
I like a zine.
Mm-hmm. Don't be a menace to chaos when you're drinking your haze in the wood.
Do you know what that's a parody of?
It's Don't Be a Menace in South Central. I can't remember the
when
rest
you're
of the
drinking
name.
your juice in the hood.
Right.
The Wayans brothers.
So this is just an advert. This is the catalogue.
Oh, well, mate, there you go.
And we have a little picture version of that cool cat, which genuinely might go up in my house.
I can see that being framed and put up in your house.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And that is a lovely, lovely framed, signed picture of Jack.
Yeah,
Jack
we should put
Sexsmith.
that up.
We should put
Where
that
should
up.
we put that? I do like Jack Sexsmith.
I do indeed. I'm going to take down...
We'll do that later. Well, that's all we've got time for. Please click the links in the video description below to check out your WrestleTalk, WrestleCrate boxes, subscription boxes, whether you're in the US or the UK, of course, use .com or .co.uk, depending on geographical location, and fight forever. The shows are next week. Again, it's a UK thing. There isn't, sadly, an American version of that just yet. So, yeah, come down and see us at the London ones or go to many of the very good matches and shows because they're not just the wrestling shows. You'll have something to wrestle with live recordings, or not recordings, but shows afterwards with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad.
And Conrad, I genuinely want to meet Conrad.
He's in the Kevin Kelly bracket of people where I really like him.
If one of our WrestleTalk guys says, "Do you want to go meet Conrad?" I might be like, "Oh no." I'm not sure if I do.
Say, Akada's over here. Oh yeah, cool.
It's cool.
How's
yeah.
it going, Akada?
Cool, yeah.
Kevin Kelly's over there. Oh, Kevin Kelly. And who else sponsors us? Beer 52 do.
Of
So
course
go
they
over
do.
to beer52.com/WrestleTalk to get your free case of craft beer, UK viewers only. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen. Click the videos. And that was Rambling.